Hi, this is Josh Ibarra, and this is my Module 14 Parental Apathy Case Study for EDL 856. Okay, the case study dealt with a new assistant principal, Mrs. Rose. So what do I know? I know that this is her first year. She's like 4 months in, I think it talks about whenever she initiates this whole proposal to create a better relationship with the community and the parents. She just finished a school community relations class like EDL 856, and so she understands that school and community relations are very important. She's noticed that there aren't very strong ties between the school and the community, and there's not a lot of parent involvement. So she believes there should be stronger ties between the school and the community and the parents. Um, she approaches her principal about this, and he tells her that there used to be organizations, but there's a lot of parental apathy at this point, and that a lot of these parents believe that the school should be doing everything as far as dealing with the kids, and that the parents shouldn't have to be involved. And he is not a fan necessarily of becoming more involved. He thinks that things are fine the way they are and just kind of wants to leave them there. She kind of lets it go since she's a new administrator, doesn't really want to ruffle any feathers, but then approaches him later on, I can't remember if it was a few weeks or months later, about possibly having this meeting, and he catches her off guard and tells her to move forward with it. And so they organize this meeting, and they send home letters with the kids. So the only, I guess, form of communication was this announcement letter that they sent home with the kids that said there will be a meeting for parents who want to be more involved. I think it was a week from the coming Monday at like 7:30 p.m. in the school's auditorium. The night of the meeting, only 8 parents show up. And this is kind of, in a sense, devastating to Mrs. Rose, and she's a little shocked and frustrated by this, I think. The principal at this point wants to cancel the meeting, and so this is where we are left. And it's basically, what should we do? Should we have the meeting? And so on and so forth. So what do I need to know? Well, what I need to know, or what I'd like to know, is why is the parental involvement so poor? What has happened in the past? What happened to the former organizations that used to exist, whether it was PTO or PTA, site council, whatever it may be? What's happened to them? Why is it not there? Is it true what the principal is saying as far as there's just a lot of parental apathy? Why, if there is that, why is there a lot of parental apathy? Do the teachers have any insight? Maybe the principal's not giving her the full story, and maybe some of the teachers have insight on this. Do they want more involvement from the parents? Do they want more involvement from the community? So why is the principal advising Mrs. Rose to not push the subject? Is there something more to it than him just saying you're not going to get anywhere with this? The parents just don't like to be involved, or is that it, or is there more to this? Did something happen in the past? Which I guess goes in, is there something, or is this something he knows from experience? Have they conducted any surveys with the parents, with the community, teachers, whoever? What forms of communication have they attempted? Is it just, I know it talks about the letters that they sent home. It also talks about him being in contact through telephone calls, but have they tried any other forms of communication? And then another thing I'd like to know is, what is the socioeconomic makeup of the school? If you have a lot of kids on free and reduced lunch, or you have a lot of people who are very busy, maybe you got parents who work multiple jobs, they don't have time for meetings, or they don't have a lot of money, that maybe they're not that interested. I don't know. I mean, sometimes when you get into situations where money is an issue, then it kind of creates problems as far as that involvement. So what is the problem? So according to the principal, it's parental apathy. It's all on the parents. They don't want to be involved. Um, is that the whole truth? We don't know. Could possibly be a lack of communication on the school's part, though. Just reading through this and seeing the little bit that they give us, this could be the issue as well. So instead of just looking outward and looking at what is going on, the parents just don't want to be involved, the community just doesn't want to be involved. Maybe there's a lack of communication. Maybe there's a lack of persistence with this whole situation. I don't know. So I can see both sides of it here, but according to the case study, it's parental apathy, and according to the principal, it's parental apathy. I kind of look at it as possibly being a bigger issue than that. So plan of action. If I was Mrs. Rose, I think I would move forward with the meeting. I would say I want to have just a quick talk with these 8 parents, and I want to see what's going on. I want to see what we can do with with this whole situation to make it better. So I would talk with the 8 parents at the meeting, find out if they believe, or how much involvement they want to have, explain to them how much involvement I would like them to have, and explain to them the importance of it, and see if you can build allies with them to where they could help spread the word and get out there and talk to other parents. I would conduct a survey and also meet with all the staff. I'd want to know what their thoughts are on this whole situation and what we could do if they have any ideas on what we could do. I would conduct a survey with the parents and community. Most of the time nowadays, you have email addresses for about everybody. It's really easy to conduct very short surveys. It doesn't have to be anything real complicated. You can do this at enrollment whenever most of the parents are going to be there. If you have parent-teacher conferences, you can do it then. That's when we do a lot of ours, is during parent-teacher conferences. I understand that the situation, they're making it sound as if parents aren't going to show up for those either, but maybe you add incentives to this to get them there. Become more visible in the community. I think this is important. Get out there. You're a new administrator. Get out in the community. Go meet people. Go to events. When you're at a sporting event for the school, talk to people. Conduct little surveys in that regard. It doesn't have to be anything formal. Just find out, get a feel for what's going on. Plan another meeting with the parents and community members. And once you plan that, you can start utilizing different ways to get the word out. And one idea might be to create a function for parents as well as students that is sponsored by local businesses. So this could be something that really encourages them to be there, and you're also getting the community, the local businesses involved. So, maybe they sponsor it. Maybe you do a barbecue, or you do some kind of a school carnival or something, and they sponsor the prizes. They sponsor the food, the catering, the location. So now you're building a relationship with this business, as well as creating an opportunity. If you've got free food, you're probably going to get more people there. That's how it kind of works, in this world. So free things or opportunities to win things, you create something there. Utilize social media. They do not mention social media at all in this case study. That is huge. We use Facebook all the time for our school events. I have a Facebook page for my football team. The school has a Facebook page. I know other organizations have them as well within our school, because it's just such an easy way to get the word out. Everybody is on Facebook. Twitter is another one that is really big in the sports world at the high school level and college level. Utilize email blasts, newsletters, whatever the case, text. And what I mean by that is, on your phones, everybody gets text messages. There's an app called Remind that we use here at the school a lot. Use print. People still read the newspaper. Build a relationship with your newspaper. Get things in there. Get it out. They want to see it there. So, and even if it's not about the meeting, just advertise your school. Promote your school. Promote what's going on. Get the word out. And then have the meeting and explain the importance of collaboration to everybody. That schools cannot function very well without that collaboration. Is the resolution best for the students? if parents are involved in the process, they're more likely to work with the school in solving issues. So if you have a problem with a student or with whatever, parents can help with that. It's the same thing, having them involved keeps kids focused on school. It also shows the students that the parents care. If they don't feel like the parents care, then the student's probably not going to care so much about their work. So if parents aren't shown to parent-teacher conferences, don't want to go to parent-teacher conferences, don't want to go to meetings, aren't involved in any of the PTOs or PTAs and things like that, sometimes kids may believe that that's because the parent doesn't care about education. So then the kid's less likely to care about it. Collaboration with the community builds better schools, allows for more resources. So like I mentioned before, if you can get sponsorship for things, it helps take some of the pressure and the burden off of the school to buy everything. So if your science class needs some new equipment, maybe there's a local company that is in the science realm that will help donate a few bucks to offset some of that cost. So, and that helps build that relationship with them. But anyway, you got to constantly be looking to keep the lines of communication open, build those relationships, because if the students see that the parents and the community care, then they are going to care more about what they're doing. So as far as debriefing on this whole situation, I was shocked about the lack of parental involvement, whether it was apathy, whether it was a scheduling situation, whether they're misinformed because of lack of communication. Either way, something needs to be fixed here. I'm surprised that the administration wasn't more proactive, and in a sense, I feel like the apathy could have been there as well. How much did that principal really care about developing these relationships? It's a two-way street here. Maybe the parents were apathetic, but so he may be as well. And maybe he's just really frustrated. Maybe he really tried early on, and he just got stepped on. Whatever the case, it'd be nice to know that. That way, Mrs. Rose can then avoid maybe what he did and get the situation fixed with his help. Antiquated means of communication really hurt the school and community relations. Letters home with the kids isn't always the best thing. Kids stuff those things in the bottom of their bags, throw them away as soon as they get them. You've got to get that word out there somehow. Utilize social media as much as possible. So that's kind of how I felt about this whole situation. Collaboration with family and community to contribute to the school's success. Speak with the original 8 parents. I think that was the start of it, and then conducting the surveys with the parents, community members, making yourself more visible in the community. I think that's a big one. Utilize more sources of communication, the social media, texting, email, still using your print sources, but community print sources. And then have that follow-up meeting. I think just that idea of opening those lines of communication and really showing that you want this to happen. Response to diverse needs and interests of the community. Once again, increase the school's means of communication with the community through social media and just different resources. Made an effort to get out in the community and meet people and bring them in, get them involved, and then just being persistent. I think you can't just give up after the first try, and you have to be persistent. You've got to keep trying until it happens. And the mobilization of community resources to support the school. Once again, those lines of communication, very big. But then the one that I think could be the real big kind of move here is setting up that school community function where you have community sponsors, local businesses sponsoring a barbecue or something. This could be at the beginning of the school year. This could be a Christmas dinner or, like I said, a school carnival, anything where you get local businesses to sponsor this, get some free food, get some prizes, whatever the case, get people involved. And then make an effort to be more visible in public. Once again, just get out there, let people know that you are there and that you really want this to happen. So really interesting case study. It is something that is pretty familiar, I think, with a lot of people in education these days. So very applicable to what we are dealing with currently and what we will deal with in the future. So thank you.